Ladies and gentlemen, Michael-Shawn Dugar from The Athletic. It's a double dip visit with Mike as we're going to put the finishing touches on our coverage with Mike. The Dugar Report, it's brought to you by Georgetown's Tavern Beer, easy drinking domestic style lager made with Pacific Northwest barley and Yakima Valley hops, 4.2%, brewed by our good friends at Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's Pale Ale and Bodhisattva IPA. I guess we didn't need that last 5 minutes of Mike's golf swing. Sorry.
No, it's all good. It gave me a little time to I gotta figure out my vacation. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, you gotta get out of here. You gotta be
where I found out actually in that extra 5 minutes, I have like 165 extra vacation hours that rolled over from before we got bought by the New York Times, so that I need to use by 2026, it looks like. So see ya.
Here's what I want for you. I want all of June. When does training camp start? End of July?
That's actually what I was just looking at too.
All of June and July.
I'll probably take off after. I'll probably go through mini camp because I want to see as much as Milroe as I can. But then from after mini camp through training camp, that's basically all of July, which is my birthday, my daughter's birthday, my mom's birthday, my wedding anniversary. See ya. Yeah, no one's gonna see me. So.
And your kids are young; they're not in school. You know what? You just go rent a place. Get out of town.
Well, we're house hunting too currently, so that gives me some time to try to figure this out, so we can maybe stop getting outbid, which is happening seemingly every other week.
It's a good time to search for a house right now, Mike.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on there, but it's crazy how many people can just buy houses cash these days. So maybe that's always been the case, and I just haven't been in on it. But
I don't know how they do it, man. Because a lot of people got a lot of cash, man. They got a lot of money. I don't know how, and then they waive everything now. No, we don't want
all the inspections, all that. Yeah, just here's $750,000 cash. Thanks for the house. I'm like, what?
Stupid. Well, good luck with that. That is a nerve-wracking.
Take some time off to do that too. So
okay. Well, you've been working hard, and thank you. You joined us on Monday and asked you to come back here just for the regular visit, so we can put the finishing touches here on it before we start back up in the fall. What is anything of your opinion changed from Monday as you kind of digest this class even more? Mike and I, discussed a lot there about Milroe. I mean, I'm excited about all these guys, and Zabel and everyone, but maybe it's the quarterback that just kind of takes our attention all the time, but. I'm with you for this mini camp and the preseason. I can't wait to see him on the field.
Yeah, because he's how you raise your ceiling, to me. Because John just doesn't want, the Steelers and the Seahawks are in very similar places where they're consistently competitive, but they're not contenders. And their fan bases are growing tired of that. It's like, yeah, cool. These 9 wins are great. Like we're appreciative of the 9 wins, but we want more. And it's not like they're just being greedy. The organizations say they want more. Tomlin doesn't want to get booted every wild card round. John doesn't want that either, and his team's barely making the wild card round as is. So they want more. And how do you do that without drafting in the top 10, which both of those teams are having an issue doing lately, without a franchise quarterback? Like, that's a tough spot to be in. You can't get the blue chips, and you don't really have a franchise Q. What do? You have to hit a lottery ticket. Like they're trying to do. I don't really know what the Steelers are going to do, but the Seahawks have their ticket. They have Milroe. That's the ticket. That's how you jump that. Like Nicky Milroe, that could be great. Elijah Arroyo, that could be great. Gray Zabel probably raises your floor on your O-line a little bit. I think those are all going to be good pieces. Robbie Oots, I probably wouldn't have drafted a fullback, but that whatever.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But people need to know you love Oots.
I do love Oots. Yeah, just in terms of just like positional value, like drafting kickers, fullbacks, long snappers, that just generally wouldn't do it. But whatever. At 5th round, I'm not really tripping. But I feel like Milroe is the lottery ticket. Milroe is how the Seahawks get over that hump if he hits. I'm not saying he will, but he's the only one I think who, if he becomes what he could become, that's the game changer. I think even the best version of Elijah Arroyo is just a really good passing tight end or pass catching tight end, which is great. The best version of Nicky Milroe is probably, I think I compared him to like Jalen Ramsey, where you're a big outside corner, but you can play some big nickel as well, which is great. But neither of those guys are the reasons that you're going to get over the top. It's going to be your quarterback. Mm-hmm. It's going to be your quarterback or an edge rusher, but they don't really have like a premier one of those. So that's why I think a lot of other people are excited about Milroe, because that's the lottery ticket that if cashes, everybody's rich.
How, there's how do you teach accuracy and throwing on time? These are all things that I think, with more time and practice and rep can get better. I don't know, will he ever get to that point where he is this polished pocket passer? Probably not, but can he be better than he was at Alabama? And this is like the third time I've said this. So for our audience, I'm sorry, and because I'm repeating myself a lot, but we talked about this with Garofolo, and I think a little bit with Danny Kelly this week as well. If anyone wants to do themselves a little homework, if you go read Lance Zierlein's breakdown of Milroe for his draft breakdown, it's pretty much the same stuff that he wrote about Josh Allen. It's very similar. It's like a lot of the same traits that he's great, his strengths and his weaknesses. And you saw Josh Allen in his first 2 years. Now, listen, Josh Allen's more of a freak than anybody because he's 6'5", 235 pounds, and he does the things that he does, and he almost like dwarfs like Milroe when you look at him. But he was inaccurate in college. That was a knock on him. Didn't throw with anticipation, waited for guys, relied on his arm, his athleticism. All the things that you read about Milroe is kind of the same things that people said about Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen was taken in the first round, all that. But even if you look at his first 2 years in the league, he was wildly inaccurate. But he played right away. And he kind of learned on the move and on the go. For Milroe, he's not going to play right away. He's going to sit for, I would assume, at least a year. He's going to sit, and then we'll see. But I'm just wondering how much better in terms of accuracy can he get at the pro level.
That's a real outlier. It is. You can get more accurate, like generally speaking, and you can tweak accuracy too. I think the more important one is probably like ball placement as well, more than just accuracy, because you can throw a bunch of short passes or whatever. But like when you throw it long, like where's the ball going? Are you getting your receivers killed? Are you leading them so they can get yak? Like that stuff. That is tough. I think the more realistic comp is more like Russ or like Jalen Hurts, where it's like neither one of those guys ever became, just pinpoint. Like neither one of them is more accurate than Geno, for instance, right? But most fan bases would probably say the best version of Russ that we've seen and what we're currently seeing is the best version of Jalen are both better quarterbacks than Geno. A lot of people would say that. I would agree with the Russ one at least. And so, but neither one, Geno's more accurate than both of them. Shoot, neither one of them is more accurate than Tua, right? But there's just other ways to work around not having that pinpoint stuff. And with Russell and Jalen, it was using their legs. Jalen Hurts, that is. He was using their legs, which they're obviously going to do with Milroe. They should fire everyone if that's not like in the first page of the Milroe plan. It should be. And then the other part of that is just spamming what he does really well. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I remember that 2022 Eagles team, I think they led the league in screen pass attempts and go ball attempts. Like there was very clearly, okay, what does Jalen Hurts do well? Let's press that button. We can dress it up how we want, but that's what we're going to do. Go balls to A.J. Brown and screen passes to whoever, right? That was what they did, and then some runs. And, Puck, you saw the Russell Wilson offense. It was zone read with Marshawn, play action, deep drops, and Russell fires cannons. Like, there's ways to just work around what your QB just doesn't do well and does do well. And that's another reason why Milroe was the lottery ticket, because some quarterbacks have those flaws, and the thing that they do well isn't enough of a superpower to take you where you want to go. Whereas some guys have that. Like if you got that cannon arm and you can run 60-yard touchdowns, all right, we can get where we want to go. We just may not be just hammering it over the middle like the Dolphins do with Tua and Tyreek. It's just different. So I think that the Josh Allen's like a perfect world scenario, but like even Brandon Beane would tell you that they couldn't have anticipated this. I think more realistic is what we saw with early Russ and what we're currently seeing from Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at even Zierlein's breakdown of Jalen Hurts what he wrote about him and his weaknesses. Has issues sustaining rhythm as a passer with so many off-schedule throws, inconsistent patience, allowing routes to develop, slow recognition of early throw opportunities, leave slants and crossers behind the targets. And again, these are the same things that you're going to say that he wrote about Milroe. Deep arm dip and elongated release. I mean, he talked about, just a lot of these. There's no, the strength of Milroe is his arm strength. I mean, he can make throws that hardly any quarterbacks can make because of how talented his arm strength is. But you're right. It does, because it's hard to teach touch and throwing with anticipation, because that's a lot of it, right? Is throwing to a spot to where the wide receiver is going to be, not waiting for them to be open. Like if you go back and read even Zerline's breakdown of Josh Allen, his comp as a pro was Jake Locker. And that's what Jake Locker struggled at. And that's why Jake Locker was out of the NFL, because he could never develop into that quarterback that threw with anticipation. He was plenty athletic enough. He was an athletic freak, but he never could develep that.
Yeah, because anticipation is everything.
Yeah, because Hurts' NFL comparison was Tim Tebow.
Oh, that's a little insulting to Hurts. I think you know what Hurts really benefited from where he went to Oklahoma after Bama, right, and got with Lincoln Riley, I believe. Yes. Like Lincoln does work with the quarterbacks. That's pretty good. Like as a passer, I feel like he can get you better without holding your hand the way that like Lane Kiffin does. For instance, like Lane's whole offense is just, don't worry, kid. The first guy is going to be open, trust me. And then he is, and you throw for 4,000 yards, where I feel like that Lincoln stint helped Jalen a little bit. Obviously, Milroe didn't get that. But yeah, I really think you can develop. It's a lot of developing now, Puck. It ain't just like it's going to be even a half a season or what. It's going to take. It's going to take some time, because defensive coordinators get paid too. I mean, I keep referencing Jalen Hurts. I mean, it was just this season they were asking his receivers what's wrong with the offense, and they're talking about passing. That was this year, the year that ends with him ending, Super Bowl MVP. So even I think Jalen's in like year 4 or something. Hurts. So it's gonna take some time. The thing is, do you trust a Kubiak, or if Kubiak kills it this year and leaves, do you trust a new OC to like, all right, take all the things Milroe does well and maximize them, and all the things he's not super great at, let's do those as seldom as possible, which is also what Darrell Bevell was doing with Russell as well, and they were winning championship games.
I just think there's so much to like about his background. You and I think we talked about it. Maybe it was this week or even the week prior. Just everything about him. I mean, he's an academic Heisman winner. You look at his background. I mean, this is everything you read about him and how he grew up. Both parents were in the military. Just a team leader. 2-time captain. This is the guy, right? This is
if he can play.
Hold on, I know, but this is, you bring him home to date your daughter. This is what this guy is. He's like the perfect. This is what your daughter you want. I'm like, no, you date him. This guy's perfect, does everything right, and I just think there's a lot. And then his quote to you guys. What was the question that was asked? What's your message to the teams that passed on you? Was that what it was? Or
yeah, it was one of those double question things, but it was do you think you're the best quarterback in the draft? And what is your message to the teams that passed on you? And Jalen's response was just 3 words: belt to ass. Which that obviously is used to describe a beatdown coming to any detractor or disbeliever. Yes, he's got the confidence. He's got the mixed in with the humility. Like he's got it up between the ears for sure. Yeah. But you still gotta make the throws. But that's a huge part of it, because he's gonna see his flaws like through the first camp or the first whatever. Like you're probably not gonna see him doing anything but trying to be QB1 at some point. And who knows? Maybe this lights a fire under Sam Darnold, where he's like, I'm not letting this kid take my job. And we never see Milroe. Maybe that's what,
because I know some people were. I know Jim. Jim was a little taken aback when he said, I think it was McDonald said, hey, we got Sam's going to be on the field 90% of the time, which then left open. Okay, so the other clearly the other 10% is not going to Drew Lock. What's your daughter doing? Is she jumping out of the crib? You got her on the monitor. Is she okay?
I turned the monitors off. What you're hearing currently is her yelling, "Daddy, where are you?" Because I think the iPad has turned off.
Do you need a timeout? Do you want to go check in with her? You can. If you want.
she's. Oh no, the iPad's going. She's okay.
The iPad's going. Yeah.
Yeah, she's okay.
God, the baby neglector of the iPad. One of the greatest things that Apple ever made.
Oh man, it's excellent with the Disney Plus, with the no ads. We're just letting it roll.
Okay,
letting it roll. She'll be okay.
I won't keep you too much longer, and then you can get back to your beautiful daughter. I don't know. I lost my train of thought with where we're talking quarterbacks. We're talking
with the 90% and
90%. So Jim was like, "Hey, if I'm Sam Darnold, I don't want to be taken off the field. Like, why am I being taken off the field?" And I said exactly what you just uttered. Maybe this is the carrot. I still think Sam Darnold needs a little bit of a carrot dangled in front of him. He needs to understand that he shouldn't be complacent at all. He had one good season, really. That's it. That's all he's had. So he needs to understand that he shouldn't be comfortable. And I think Sam Darnold's smart enough to understand that. I don't think he's comfortable yet because I don't think he should be comfortable.
Yeah, and I don't know Sam super well. I've read about him. I know some people who've covered him and stuff, but we are going to learn a lot about his mental makeup. Because yeah, I mean, you give me $100 million, I'm going to think that I'm the guy. But he wasn't around in 2012, and I was in college at the time, but I think the Matt Flynn contract adjusted for inflation is more than the Sam Darnold contract currently. You know what I mean? Because the CBA was a lot lower over a decade ago. So they gave Matt Flynn more money in theory than they just gave Sam Darnold. And they said, hey, man, this third round pick he's a baller, man. He's beating you. And that didn't even take the regular season, which is kind of crazy to think about, like getting your job taken before, the fourth preseason game or whatever. And I don't know. We're still learning Mike Macdonald, but I see him in that same mold as Pete. Like he will play the better guy if he sees the upside there, And the bet on Jalen, I almost can guarantee you this: if Jalen beats out Sam and Drew, I guarantee you what Mike Macdonald's going to say in justifying is Jalen's going to get so much better over the season. Like he's not better than Sam and Drew right now, but when we throw him out there, by December or whatever, he's just going to grow because he's got what it takes upstairs. That's what he's going to say. It almost reminds me of our former Wazoo football coach when he chose Mateer over the other guy. He was just like, Mateer's going to grow. He's going to grow so much and his ceiling's so high. That's why we're going with him, even though there were times where Mateer couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, but he was just like, he's just going to get better at a rate that's going to help us win. He was right. And I think if Mike has that same logic, like if it's close, I can see that, yeah, maybe Jalen can't hit the broadside of a barn on August 23rd, but by November 23rd, it's better than anything that's Drew or Sam were going to be in their careers.
What's going to happen is something I think, and I don't know if this sways their decision. I don't think there's anything he's going to, maybe I'm going to save this tape because we'll play it back if it does happen. I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything that's going to happen. My prediction that's going to happen in the preseason where they're going to say we're going to go with him over Darnold. But you know what? If it does happen, we'll play it back and we'll say you're an idiot. You gave a definitive statement and you're wrong. But I do think there's going to be a moment and a game because I remember exactly where I was watching this game. When Russell Wilson was on the field against, I think it was Kansas City, their preseason game, and it was just like, oh my God, he was the best player on the field, and at that point, it was starting to be like, oh my God, he's really good in practice, he looks better, and then that one was like, oh my God, that's the quarterback, and I think everyone thought it after that game. I don't know how they don't start him anymore, and then they made the decision. My point on Milroe is he's going to get in the preseason and he's going to have one of those runs and people are just going to lose their minds because they're going to be like, oh my God, I've never seen that before. And that's going to start this feeling where people want to see him more and more.
And I think correct. And also the Denver game in that same preseason, Russ outplayed Matt Flynn. I have a portion about that in my book, The Franchise, dropping on August 12th, where Jermaine Kearse was telling me the story. They run the same exact play. And the receiver has a read. And if you read the safety, if he's flat footed, you go deep. And if he's on his toes, you curl up and catch the ball. So they ran the same play. I forget what it's called, but Matt Flynn and Terrell Owens run it. And Terrell reads it right. And he goes deep and he drops the ball. Probably would have been a 50-yard bomb touchdown. Jermaine and Russ come in later in the game, run the same exact play. Jermaine catches it. Big pass, and then they end up scoring on that drive. And Matt Flynn, I don't think even played after that series with T.O. And now that's to say that was the only play that swayed it, but sometimes it is just a moment. Like sometimes it is just that play or an instance where, like you said, he has a 50-yard run in a joint practice or something like that. And Mike Macdonald's like, I got to put this kid on the field. Like and I think the other thing, Puck, Mike Macdonald's answer about Jalen, I think this was draft night, was very telling to me. He was like, Jalen is the type of player that makes it hard on the defense because you play the first play right and he still got the ball. You play the second play right and he's still back there running. And then the third play, he's either throwing it or killing you. And some defensive coaches view it that way. Like, I'm going to go with whatever I think is hardest that gives me the most trouble. That's kind of how Pete viewed things when he was picking his offensive coordinators too. After a while, it was like, okay, what offenses keep me up at night? Let me hire someone from that tree. So if you're Mike Macdonald, is it as simple as what Jalen can eventually do? Eventually is being the key word. Is that the thing that gives defenses the most headaches? And if that's the case, as a defensive coach, I know how tough that is. And if I can't stop it Monday through Saturday, how the hell are these other coaches going to stop it on Sunday? And that's, again, eventually you got to get there. But the thought process of that defensive minded coach, I think, is going to play a role here as well.
There he is, Michael-Shawn Dugar from the Athletic, the Dugar Report, co-host Seahawks Man to Man podcast with our guy Chris Kidd. He joins us every single week. Brought to you by Georgetown's Tavern Beer, easy drinking domestic style lager made with Pacific Northwest barley and Yakima Valley hops. It's a sad day, so we're not going to talk to you for a while. You go enjoy that vacation. Catch up with your family, will you? Reintroduce yourself.
Well, we got Mother's Day, I think, is coming up. So I have a lot of moms in my life now, between grandmas. I got a mother-in-law now, obviously my own mom, and then my wife. So Mother's Day will be very expensive. Hopefully my dad helps out. I think he left me hanging last year, so we need to.
Did he get any winnings from the casino? Any sports wagers have come in from the?
I don't think I've talked to him since I last did your show. I got to talk to him this weekend or after rookie camp.
And run the idea in the fall about him coming on, maybe during your segment, giving his picks of the week.
I will definitely talk to him about that. We got to go over Mother's Day plans anyway, and see how he wants to handle that. Hopefully, the next time I'm on, I've either bought a house or actually, let's just hope that. Let's just start there.
Where are we looking?
South King County mostly, because that's where my mother-in-law is and where my parents are, and they help with the childcare, so it's nice to be in their proximity. That saves us a little bit. So no further than Twin Lakes, no further north than probably Rainier Beach, Beacon Hill, maybe. So it's a wide range, but like I said, there are a lot of people out here with cash that are buying these houses, Puck, and like you said, waiving inspections. I'm like, you guys don't even want to look at the roof, like
how about the foundation that's crumbling that you're just about to drop $850 on? You don't even know.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you mean they bought it cash? What?
You got a real estate agent, or do we need to find you one? You got somebody?
No, my mother-in-law has she had multiple properties actually in the King County area, so we're using her realtor. That's kind of been in the family for a little bit, so we're in good hands. It's just, oh my goodness, it's tougher than I thought. If you want space, that's our issue. My wife wants a yard, and she wants to get a dog, which I'm not budging on, but she just wants the yard so that it makes her case a little bit more compelling. Mm-hmm. So if you want space and that range I just gave you, then it's a little tougher. If we just wanted a nice townhouse or something like that, we'd be fine. But if you want space and you don't want to pay $1 million to HOAs, it's tough. So wish me luck.
Well, good luck. All right. I'm going to miss you, but I will look forward to our visits in the fall. We'll catch up. We'll catch up like maybe one time or a couple times before then, but have a great vacation and get some rest. Good luck with the house. Tell all the women in your life happy Mother's Day. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thanks, Buck. Go Cougs.
Yeah, go.